Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Anime Night in the Dojo. Today's featured show, Gachiakuta, Season 1.
Yep, Gachiakuta, Season 1, Episode 11. Welcome back to the dojo. I'm Ryu. That's Age. We're back for more Anime Night in the Dojo. And, well, last week, we got this guy, the guy that does all their tech and stuff like that. We got introduced to Amo, who has a very unique character design. We got to talk about that. Apparently, we're going to be getting her backstory in the next episode or two here, and thanks to spoilers, we know a little bit about it, and it's going to be one hell of a thing to talk about. I don't know the exact specifics, but apparently there's a character in it that gives Shao Tucker a run for his money.
So, yeah, I don't know if it's supposed to be her dad or just a dad in the backstory. I just know we're supposed to get her backstory. Her backstory's fucked up, and at some point in it, we get a candidate for worst dad.
Yep, and we just got done talking about worst dads, but again, as bad as Shao Tucker is and a lot of those other really bad dads in anime, I would like everybody to look up Jonas Venture Sr. from the Venture Brothers. Nobody that I've seen has anything on that guy. Not even close. Even as bad as Shao Tucker is and how much he's memed on and how all the terrible shit Shao Tucker did, he's got nothing on Jonas Venture Sr. So, anyway, yeah, it will be interesting to see what's going on with that, if we get any more of the, the series equipment stuff, but this will probably be more Amo's backstory, like how she's able to live in no man's land, that kind of thing. If she has some kind of, unique power, something like that. Didn't get everything spoiled for me, obviously, just the dad bit and the fact that her story is very, very tragic. Okay, that doesn't tell me anything other than it's tragic. That's telling me that whatever is a tragedy. It's okay, so how do we get there? What's in it? What's tragic about it? What are the specifics? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know Amo's backstory's fucked up. And that, everyone freaking memes about worst dad and stuff like that about it. But I don't really know much of anything actually about her. Most of my random source material knowledge is mostly related to people's specific vital instruments and how they work.
Yep. So, anyway, we're going to get going here, so people on Patreon will get the timer set up, and people on YouTube, we will see you on the other side of this edit for the review and discussion, as always. So, here goes something. Well, alrighty then. You guys see this thing? It's maybe it's a space elevator or whatever, but Amo lives at the top, so maybe it doesn't go that high. We didn't really see how high this goes.
I mean, the sphere is got to be at least cloud level, if not higher, and this doesn't even go to cloud level, so it's definitely not something that actually could reach the sphere unless there is some sort of actual friggin' magical elevator attached to it.
Right. So it will be interesting to see what the deal is with this thing, because obviously it's a space where the usual harmful effects of a wasteland isn't effective.
Yeah, something about
whether it's Amo's power, or I'm more leaning towards how it's designed and what it's potentially designed to do.
Yeah, I imagine it's some form of containment zone where the pollution can't enter it for whatever reason.
Yep.
And that's why Amo decides to live here, because her power probably is what lets her sort of get by going out into the pollution. But she still doesn't like it because it probably doesn't totally block it out. It's probably more or less the equivalent of having a mask-ish of just, her producing her own scent around her that pushes out some, if not most, of the pollution, the polluted air.
Yeah, and since we now know she has a series item, I got to 1 minute and 44 seconds. To be fair, Age and I were talking about some ZZZ stuff in between the reaction and discussion. But come on, Crunchyroll. Okay? Okay? You know what I mean? Okay? You know what I mean? we might have to go back to the high seas here, if you guys know what I mean. It's aggravating me now.
Oh shit, sexual violence is back.
Sexual violence. This could be construed as sexual violence. I mean, she's using, people's feelings to do stuff and set off my ESPN app. So, where were we? I was still talking about the damn tower, and then I got murdered by nonsense. Either way, regardless, train of thoughts all over the wall. It will be interesting to see if there are more of these things in the world. Okay?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting to, is I feel like this is some form of containment zone, and that there probably is one somewhere, at least one somewhere in each of the Dead Man's Lands.
Yeah.
Because this whole thing, like, there's all these blue particles around it that seemed like they were keeping the sand away. And the materials here, not only do they seem to be resistant to the erosion of the Dead Man's Land, they also look rather similar to the sphere tech.
Yeah.
The white metal.
Right. So, interesting bit of world lore for the moment. We might get more of like what the deal is with that, with Amo's backstory. That will definitely be coming next episode after everything that happened in this one, with all the super awkwardness and the fact that she does have a series item. And again, we've now seen 3 series items: Rudo's gloves, her boots, and then the Raider leader's cloak and/or chest piece. Something.
Yeah, well, we don't know what the actual item is. We just know he has the series symbol on his back.
Yeah. So, again, I speculated during the reaction a little bit, like, okay, so is this a set bonus thing? What happens if you wear all of them? You know what I mean? So that might be something for like an overarching series thing to look out for in the future. So we'll put a pin in that, just like we did with the Don Machi stuff. You guys remember that from season 2 of Don Machi, if you're here for that? So, anyway.
I imagine it is probably some sort of set thing, but it's also a thing of, like, not just anyone can probably use it, because we've already seen that, like, Rudo's already taken some pretty heavy rebound before just using the gloves by themselves.
Right. And
we don't know about potential rebound for Amo using her power yet.
Right. Though she might not have any rebound because of her mental state, or maybe, well, we already know that her backstory is messed up, so we'll just have to see the specifics of it. But maybe the boots are part of the cause of why her backstory is messed up. It's the rebound. So we'll just have to see.
Well, yeah, like, we know the gloves are super important to Rudo's backstories. I imagine the boots are going to be similarly relevant in hers.
Yep. So either way, we got introduced to Dalen's his vital instrument, which we talked about the potential of somebody having an ability like this, where I assume his water is clean and probably drinkable. You know what I mean?
Oh, like, the whole thing is that he uses it to water his plants, so
yeah.
It's got to be it's got to not be polluted at the very least.
Yeah, at the very least. So, obviously it has multiple settings. That's cool. Obviously using it on a person. When you overwater anything, bloated, and then what they showed with, you kind of explode. Like putting too much water in a balloon or whatever. You know what I mean? If you overwater something, it's really bad. So, yeah, his vital instrument against people is, you don't think about it being super messed up, like, oh yeah, he's just hitting you with high pressure water that can go through walls, obviously deadly. Yeah, but if you get hit by too much of it, then you just also, you know what I mean? So
yeah, because as it was explained, the water actually, like, absorbs into your body, and obviously, if you have too much water in your body, it's not good for you.
Yeah,
in a number of ways.
Right, because there is a such thing as water poisoning.
Yeah.
So, you know, um, crazy. I do like this as just a thing since we talked about it. So, it will be interesting to see, like, with all the stuff that Amo is doing, if we're gonna get only like Rudo's romantic interest, whatever, but the rest of them, us being given, say, whatever Rio is going on about, or whatever what's his name? Folio? Polo. Yeah, too many F's going on these days. Whatever he's seeing, whatever Dalen's seeing, that kind of stuff. Is it really important? Because if we have no context to those characters that they're seeing, does it really do anything for us? You know what I mean? Obviously, we understand what's going on with Rudo because we know the Enforcers. We know Chiwa, that kind of stuff. So...
Yeah, Rudo's is the most important to see. Especially because he's the most likely one going to break out of his, because we know of his relation with Chiwa. And once again, Rudo's character so far up to this point has basically just been he gets pissed off enough to break through whatever it is that's going on.
Right.
And this is the kind of power that's basically what you need, is to overpower the emotional manipulation aspect of it, so that way you can break the illusion.
Yep. So I assume that's going to be the case, because we're going to get the other guy's vital instrument, which vaguely pistol-like. Maybe it's like a syringe or something.
I imagine it's a primarily lethal weapon, because once again, he makes note of, like, not liking to use it on people, and that he never thought he'd have to use it on friends.
Right. I know he, we see it for like a split second. Okay, so... kind of looks like a pipe gun from Fallout? I don't know, but it could be anything, really. Looks vaguely firearm-like, but maybe not.
It could be firearm, but it looks more like a spool of something.
Yeah, maybe like a spool and thread, something like that. Something like that, like a spindle. Any of those kinds of things, you know, it can be used like garrote wire, anything. You know, they're givers. Yeah. They can be used in many myriad of ways. And anything can be deadly if you want it to be.
Yeah, so. We know givers are capable of having like multiple uses for their instrument. Like we've seen, like Engine has like 4 for his umbrella.
Yeah.
And like frickin' Jabber has his whole thing of like his different claws do different things.
Right.
Which I was going to point out, he states the different claws doing different things, but that doesn't necessarily mean specifically left hand, right hand. He mentions like the claw on his left hand doing a thing, but not specifically like his left claw is only doing a thing. You got to remember the fact that each of those is technically a different claw on each of his fingers, so it could be a thing of like he actually has 10 different poisons, one for each claw.
Right, because claw singular, you know, if there's 5 points on your hand and each one of these fingers is part of a claw, each one of these is a different claw as you move it.
Yeah, like if they were all like the same part of the same device, you could make more argument that it's a singular claw, but since his are specifically different claws for each of the different rings that are independent of each other, the way he words it and the way it functions could very well be that he has a lot more than just 2 poisons.
Yep. So that'll probably be something we potentially get into in the future as well. But either way, I like what they're doing. Doing with this. This was a very heavy episode from the emotional standpoint. I'm sure it's going to get obviously more emotional with the fact that, you know, we got potentially another Shao Tucker-like character coming in next week. That kind of deal. So
I mentioned that like Rudo's probably the most important, but I imagine we'll still probably get at least some glimpse into potentially Rio's. Because like Rio, Zonka, Engine, and Rudo are the main characters. But Rio's the only other one affected at the moment. Like I would say Zonka or Engine, but Engine is out and Zonka has his mask on at this point. Right. We got that little bit of a glimpse of him starting to be affected by it before he put the mask on. And then his response to the power. But we didn't actually get any clear indication as to what it was.
Right.
but Rio is fully under at this point. Granted, she's worse for wear because she did take the direct blast, but she is fully under the effect of Amo's power now, so we could potentially get some info on her backstory.
Yep. But
which, like I said, I do know a little bit about her backstory, but not very much.
Right. But compared to the Aelin just outright, decree of, hey, she's what I live for kind of deal, Rio's reaction was very muted and tone deaf. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see what she's seeing if we do get to see that, because that's a very different reaction to have than the, I'm going to protect my wife with my life kind of deal. I mean,
well, yeah, we know Dylan is also just, super freaking out there.
Strong, yeah.
Whereas Rio in general is a lot more cool and collected. And her response was basically just, don't worry about it, I'll deal with these guys.
Yep. So, anyway, I don't really have a huge amount to say about this one because the major part of this is coming, but it's cool that we established all these, we're establishing all these different vital instruments, that kind of thing. Another series item. Okay, glad we're not forgetting about that. But it's not season 4 yet, and this author hasn't deviated into a side story of a side story, so we'll probably be okay.
As it stands right now, we have Zonka, this guy, and Gris who are up because they've inverted the situation of now it's Folio who's decommissioned and it's Gris who's still active. The record keeper girl just kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
Don't know what exactly happened to her. So around the time the fighting started, she just kind of dipped.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen her.
Yeah, so she's going to be like the Sakamoto teachers that just mysteriously reappear at the end of this, right? We're okay. Where'd you guys go? Weren't you going to fight that guy? What the hell?
I mean, from what we've seen of her, she's not really much of a fighter.
Well,
she's
yeah, for her, yeah.
keeper.
Yeah, she's just a record keeper. That's a completely different situation.
But yeah, she just kind of vanished in the middle of the fight.
Yep. So, anyway, that's all I got for this week. Solid episode. What it's leading into, I'm sure it'll be very heavy, and prepare for some pretty heavy stuff next week, I'm sure. So, you got anything else, AJ?
Yeah, I don't know. We both know we're getting Amo backstory of some sort. We'll potentially get more on the Chiwa thing. We may or may not get some of Rio's stuff, which, like I said, I know a little bit about her backstory. Not a lot. Though it is very telling, not even to anything that I know about her backstory, just it's very telling that the whole thing of her sharing Bruno's disdain for parents.
Right.
But there's probably something that happened there.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting if we do see anything from her perspective, but it's kind of up in the air whether or not we will.
Yep. But
Bruno's is definitely going to be the focus.
I mean, we're still very early in the series, and we always know that major characters are going to get their backstory one way or another. You know what I mean? So it's not necessarily would be a bad thing if we got part of it right now. So, this would be about chapter 40-ish, somewhere around there generally. So that's pretty fun to do it.
Yeah, most shows generally go around 30 to 40 manga chapters a core.
Yep. So, anyway, next week should be pretty heavy. Looking forward to that. And however this situation resolves, any more on the series items, all kinds of cool stuff. I'm excited. So, ladies and gentlemen, people of YouTube, beyond how you're watching, we always appreciate you stopping by and hanging with us here in the dojo for more Anime Night in the Dojo. And this was Gachiakuta, Season 1, Episode 11. So, have a good morning, evening, afternoon. Whatever it is for you, have a good one. See you next time.
Hey everyone, Victoria here. If you enjoyed the video, please consider pushing those like and subscribe buttons. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thanks again for your time, and we hope to see you again in the future.